Hello and welcome to Sports Bash. We are yet again ready for another stimulating discussion after a pretty lengthy match between Kolkata Knight Riders and Punjab Kings. I have with me the regular panelists Jai and Nishant with me to shed some more light upon today's match and about how things went about. First of all, a great match for Punjab Kings, finally winning the match and not letting things slip away from their hands because they have now been accustomed to such matches where they let things go till the last ball. But finally, they end up on the winning side for a change. We have three teams now on the same number of points. We have Kolkata, we have Mumbai and Punjab on the same number of points, so which spices things up for the remaining matches. Who gets into the playoffs? But before we get into all the action, we need to talk about Venkatesh Iyer. I mean, this young player from Madhya Pradesh has taken the nation by storm. People used to think that maybe the initial performances were a fluke. He might not perform, but we can see that now he's turning into a consistent player. 5 matches in IPL, but scoring 196 runs with a strike rate of more than 130, which goes on to show that he has been, cementing his place for KKR. Like he was bought for a base price of just 20 lakhs last season and got his chance to debut this year, but he has been phenomenal. He taking up handy wickets against Delhi Capitals and again taking up the wicket this time as well, a very important wicket. So a very important player. So my question to both our panelists tonight, what do you think about Venkatesh Iyer and his contribution to KKR's victories in this leg of the IPL? Nishant and then Jack.
Okay. So hello everyone. And so Venkatesh Iyer, it's a completely surprising name in this leg of IPL because no one knew about this player. Like no one, there was not even anything in the air about this player. He hasn't played any match for any of the team. Yeah, he's been a good player in the Ranji seasons and on the domestic circuit, but KKR also tried few different combinations in the first leg of the IPL. They tried Nitish Rana opening with Shubman Gill. They tried Rahul Tripathi, but there was no combination. Even in one match, they tried Tom Benton, who is a big name in the England team. Tom Benton is an explosive batsman, wicketkeeper batsman. They also tried him, but nothing was working. And finally, they found someone who can even deliver with the ball. That was also he's like opening himself after every game. In the first two games, we saw that he's a good batsman. Okay, in the match against Delhi Capitals, we saw that okay, he's a good bowler. He's a fast bowling all rounder. Hardik, we have seen Hardik Pandya has been inconsistent with his form in the international cricket and also in the lately in the T20 circuit also. So Venkatesh Iyer, that on Twitter when Venkatesh Iyer took 2 wickets, Hardik Pandya was trending on the Twitter. Like that was like people are imagining him as a replacement for Hardik Pandya. And especially when we talk about Hardik Pandya, we don't only talk about the batting and the bowling segment. We talk about his fielding. We know how good Hardik Pandya is as a fielder, right? After Ravindra Jadeja, the best fielder in our Indian team is Hardik Pandya. And today even we saw that Venkatesh Iyer has got that acrobatics. Like he can also field well along with the batting and the bowling. We know that in this international cricket and also in the most of the major tournaments, the fielding plays a crucial role. Even MS Dhoni emphasized it when he was the captain of the Indian team. So even Venkatesh Iyer has that. If he has also got that edge in the fielding. So I think it won't be late, or we might see him very soon in playing in the blue jersey. I think if Hardik Pandya continues his poor form, I think we will definitely see him in the blue jersey very soon, very very soon, within a year.
Undoubtedly, so very important point raised by Nishant. I mean, on Twitter, he was trending today. The netizens were declaring that he needs a place in the T20 World Cup squad ASAP. What do you feel, Jay? Is it justified, or do you need to give the youngster more time, or is he right fit for the squad this time?
I guess that we would need to give Venkatesh Iyer a bit more time because, he has come into the game after, so long, and these were just his first few games in the IPL. So from the go, from the get go, you could see that he was not actually from a completely cricketing background. He had been into a job, he had a really good job at Deloitte, and we came to know, his mother was the one who actually pushed him towards cricket, and that is how he came into this direction. So when we see a person performing great, so we definitely do cherish the kind of talent that he has, the kind of consistency that he has given in the second leg. One could easily attribute the success that KKR have had. He has been a driving factor to it because the opening the opening knocks that he has, the kind of partnership that he sets up. Today also he went down at 120 for 3, where they had already cemented their place in the starting of the game. And then down the line we could see the absence of Andre Russell might have affected them. Otherwise, even today's game was pretty much towards KKR's favor. So Venkatesh Iyer is a pretty important player, and the way Nishant has elaborated on it, that he has been taking decent wickets and he has been a really good fielder. But when we talk about the Indian cricket team, so you do not you do not check out somebody just because of their bad form, or just because they're not in the in their zone right now. We need to give those people time, and they are at that spot due to their performance over a span of years. So we have been seeing Venkatesh Iyer for just the second leg of this season. He has been performing in such an outstanding way. So we'll need to give him more time. We'll need to let him grow into that role, and then we need to see how he does under high pressure situation and what kind of a performance he brings up. And then we might be able to think about considering him for as a replacement for Hardik Pandya.
Right.
I
So
think
a
KKR are
bit of
good with KKR has got good set of scouts. Like they are searching players from the corporate world. We have seen Varun
right.
Chakrabarti, who's an architect by profession. He's playing and he's
Nice.
really performing well. Now they have got Venkatesh Iyer. So I think they have got a good scout who is scouting from the corporate world, where they can find good players.
Undoubtedly. So they are in the search for the third IPL trophy, and I guess maybe they're looking for their answers in the corporate world. So a bit of contrasting opinions from both our panelists, but they are united in their praise for this young batsman Venkatesh Iyer and his performance for KKR. Now we move on to the another team, the victorious side, and the important role of KL Rahul, the captain. I mean, Punjab Kings has had a very topsy-turvy IPL in both the legs. I mean, they've had their highs, their lows, but once again they find themselves in the running for the playoffs by the win. Their hopes are alive, and we see that uh, KL Rahul's performance so far has been nothing short of being inspiring. Once again, he's the orange cap holder. Last season also he was the one. He has now more than 550 runs from 12 matches so far, and he has been very consistent. He has the highest score of 91 in this both the legs of IPL. I mean, in this season, and very consistent. I mean, he has been giving Punjab the important foundation right at this start. So my question to both the panelists is: we have been talking about how KL Rahul could be the replacement for Rohit Sharma some years down the lane as the next captain for India in the white ball cricket, and he has been inspiring as a wicketkeeper batsman, as a captain. So what do you feel? How important do you find his role for Punjab Kings, and how do you look at his captaincy as well? Nishant and then Jack.
So there's no doubt about his captaincy. I mean, he's a good captain. We have seen him throughout this IPL also in the previous years. But when you talk about today, if I talk about especially about today's knock, it was a pretty much KL Rahul's knock. Though I am happy that it came in a winning way, like they won the match. But again, there is always he has always been criticized for his strike rate, and again today there was the same issue. Like the other players on the other end were hitting the ball. Mayank Agarwal was hitting well in the starting, but KL Rahul somehow I don't think puts pressure on the other players by playing this way. Today,
Right.
if we saw the Shah Rukh Khan's knock of 22 runs of 9 balls was a crucial knock, like in the winning way. Like because we can say that because of that cameo, like Punjab won the match. Though KL Rahul was at the other end anchoring the inning, but he was a slight irresponsible at the end of in the last over. I can say because they were only required 4 runs, and we have seen that they just two matches before they lost against Rajasthan Royals, they can't chase 4 runs in last over. So KL Rahul did again the same thing. He played that short over. He tried to win it by a 6, and there was a player at the long off. But I think there was an irresponsible shot, obviously, because he could have gone for 2 runs, 1 run, single, and if there was bowler at the other end, we can understand that he could have gone for a big hit. But there was Shah Rukh Khan who was hitting quite well. Like he was playing at 14 runs of 6 balls. So I think that was irresponsible. But happily the Rahul Tripathi dropped
Drop the catch, yeah.
dropped the catch on the last ball, and I'm happy for Priti Zinta, I guess, because it's my second most favorite team. So I'm happy that they are in
Right.
the tournaments now, and I want to see them in the playoffs. So I think KL Rahul should play with a bit more like high strike rate in the next matches.
Right. Play more responsibly. Right. What about you, Jay? What do you feel?
I would like to add on, the way that Nishant has put forward the points, but again, I would be in a slight contrasting side, because when you're the captain of the team and when you're able to see that your start has dropped down a bit and you're not having big hitters or all rounders deep down in your batting order, so he has to bat more responsibly, more responsibly, because once your captain is down, so at that point of time the moral, it takes a very big dive down. So at that point of time, if KL Rahul, if he would have tried hitting some knocks and he would have gotten out, so then Shah Rukh Khan would have been in that much more of a pressure and he might not have hit the knock that he has hit today. So KL Rahul, even in the previous few games, he was doing an outstanding job. He was actually pulling his weight. He was putting up the runs. And today, his decision with the kind of bowlers that he has chosen, Ravi Bishnoi taking up those wickets, Arshdeep coming at the right moment and taking those critical wickets. So I guess we should give more credit where it is due, because once you're a captain, you cannot bat that carefree or with that much of an impulse or that much of aggression when you have that much of a responsibility on your back. You need to stay there with your team till the end, because today KL Rahul he was there on the crease till the end. So that made a very big difference. And even in the previous few games, we have been able to see that when a captain is coming up, in the upper middle order or in the start, so if he's sticking till the end of the team, that makes worlds of differences, instead of him hitting a good knock and getting out in between somewhere. So that, I guess that is why he might be trying to change his batting form a bit, or he might be going in this direction. But that
Right.
should not be the reason why he's criticized.
Right. So once again, contrasting opinions from the panelists, but united in KL Rahul's praise. So yeah, KL Rahul. There's on Twitter also. There's been some discussion about how KL Rahul has been performing quite well consistently, but there has been some discussion, some talks about his strike rate and how maybe because of the strike rate, Punjab, the matches of Punjab always go on till the last over, and that is unnecessary stress on the bowlers and all the players as well. I feel sometimes, but yeah, obviously fortunate enough to have Tripathi on the other side dropping the catch and the match as well. But now moving from a player who has been criticized for his strike rate, we move to yet another player who has been criticized for his strike rate, bringing us to the discussion of the day. Shubman Gill has been criticized for his strike rate, and I feel that that added pressure of not performing with the required strike rate has also contributed to his lack of form in this IPL, because last year he was the highest run scorer for KKR. I mean, he was the new find, and people thought that he has a very bright future ahead. But this time, in the 12 matches that KKR has played, he has scored just 200 odd runs, and he has struggled to give brief starts. Obviously, Venkatesh Iyer playing for KKR and not letting them feel the brunt of the loss of Shubman Gill. But what do you feel? I mean, Shubman Gill has been struggling. Personally, my opinion is that in last year's IPL, there was a clear-cut role defined for him. He was able to open, and he was given this responsibility that he had to give KKR a good foundation right at the start. But this time, in order to find the right combination, as Nishant rightly mentioned, they are experimenting with different players, and Nitish Rana has performed, and then also the player from England, Top Breton. There were a lot of combinations and shuffling right at the start. And I guess in all this confusion, maybe Shubman Gill hasn't been able to perform quite well. His strokes have also become quite rash, very irresponsible at times. And I feel that he needs to, get together his nerves and perform well for KKR in the remaining matches if he wants to, survive, because we have seen that in this season's IPL, a lot of uncapped players, right from Ruturaj Gaikwad to now Venkatesh Iyer, like various players performing quite well, and we see that we have a lot of players who can play for the national squad. So if Shubman Gill wants to survive and find a chance for fight ball cricket, he needs to perform well in the remaining matches for KKR. So my question to both the panelists: where do you feel Shubman Gill is lacking this time, and what more should he try to perform well for the later part of the IPL? Nishant and Jay.
Actually, if we like find ourselves in Shubman Gill's shoes, it will be like if I'm Shubman Gill, there is Venkatesh Iyer with me, there is Rahul Tripathi, all are playing well. Like so,
Well, yeah.
there can be sometimes self doubt on him, like why I'm not performing. Like they are all uncapped players. They are also not playing national cricket or international cricket. All of them are just playing domestic cricket. So all of them are performing. Even Nitish Rana is finishing well. So I think there might be that self-doubt in himself that I'm not performing, and day by day the pressure increases. Like he has also not performed well in the first half, and also now his performance in match by match is like it's declining. So it's
True.
difficult to be Shubman Gill right now. But yeah, maybe it's a bad season for him. One bad season. We can't define him as a like bad player, because we have seen that we can see him as a next Virat Kohli. If we see from the current set of young players, we will find that he is one of the player who will like carry on the legacy of Virat Kohli in future. So he's a good player. Even Virat Kohli had a few bad seasons in the early his IPL career. So
Right.
this can be there that he has that added pressure. Also that he has to improve in this his like weakness on the incoming delivery. Even Kevin Peterson in commentary today mentioned that he has always faced difficulty when the ball comes inside. Like he also faced
Hmm.
this difficulty in the Australian tour when the ball was
True. And even Sachin talked about this, that
yes.
he
So he
is
has to
struggling about the
improve on
incoming
that thing,
delivery.
because all the bowlers have now found out the like we all have this
His
set of
weakness.
analytics, and all teams have that like uh, set of analytics who analyzes all the players, and so like it's not difficult for any other team to analyze
To
this
find a
player's
weakness, yeah.
weakness. Yes, find the weakness. So he has to work, and in this season itself he has got a couple of times in the same manner, and he's like that makes him because of that he's like forced to play the last shot, and he gets out because of the added pressure. But yeah, we still have 3 to 4 matches, and would like to see him open. I would like your Morgan to give him the same spot again, the same opportunities, so that like we can he has the 2 3 matches to prove himself again. So yeah, we can see a like big knock coming from him. So I have like faith that he can play a good knock.
Yeah, so good point raised by Nishant that even in MI, the faith reposed by Rohit Sharma on players like Ishan Kishan and Prithvi Shaw, despite they struggling for their form, it goes on to show
Actually,
that the
Owen Morgan
captain.
is himself not in form, so he can't remove any other player
Yeah,
because
yeah,
of just
yeah.
scoring less runs.
Scoring less runs. Yeah, so I mean, like they should learn. I mean, Morgan has been giving him chances, but even in the later part of the game, if the chances keep on, like maybe if you give someone another chance, like to Prithvi Shaw, Ishan Kishan, they can perform and they can bounce back well. So, what do you feel, Jay? Do you find any other weakness in his batting, or what do you feel? Is it the pressure of low-scoring pitches like Sharjah in UAE, or do you find it is all a game about nerves?
No, like, I guess it might be a bit about the low scoring pitches. And another thing that would be there is like, the gap that has come in between, like between the two
Yeah.
IPL legs, and the difference that it brings, the added pressure that it brings on. And another thing that it might be like, it might just be a low moment, a slump, and it might just take one good performance to like, shift the momentum in the completely different direction. So we just have to like, keep banking on the players that have delivered, whom we know, like, they have it in them to come out and perform in like high pressure moments. So Shubman Gill being one of them, like one season, I guess if we can easily let it go, that is why Ian Morgan and like we can see all of them giving him so many more chances. So it might just like take one more performance where like he gets it right, and then from there on it just might change the curve. And when we talk about him, like he has a number of people to rely on. Like Venkatesh Iyer is doing really good, Tripathi is doing really good, and like he has the whole lineup there for him. So at any point of time, if he like if he leaves all the pressure and he comes and he is able to be as carefree as like Venkatesh Iyer, might take an inspiration from him and come and be himself and with that kind of a carefree attitude. When he, like the kind of play that Brendan McCullum is recommending, where you enjoy the game. So if that kind of mindset is inculcated, I guess that could be the factor that could like change his game and give him a different direction and bring him back on the path that he should be.
True, true, true. So very valid points raised by both our panelists today, and we have tried to make a sense about all the players who have been performing and who have been struggling in the IPL season so far. But now tomorrow we have the Super Saturday. We have two important games coming up. The first match, the 46th match, that is in Sharjah, I guess, between Mumbai Indians and Delhi Capitals, and then we have the 47th match between RR and CSK in Abu Dhabi. So I mean, in both the matches, we have teams like Delhi Capitals and CSK who have nothing to lose, but just playing for bragging rights. But for both the teams, Mumbai and RR, they have it's a game of survival. They cannot afford another loss here, otherwise they will be directly eliminated, kicked out of the playoffs. So the first match is between Mumbai and Delhi Capitals, and the second between Rajasthan and CSK. So a brief preview question to both our panelists: which team are you supporting? Which players do you find will be the MVPs, the players, the batsmen, the bowlers will performing, and the players you would like to place your bets on. So Nishant and Jay, whichever team you're supporting and the players you feel will perform tomorrow.
Mumbai has enough IPL trophies. I don't want them to qualify for playoffs. So definitely, I'm supporting Delhi Capitals, and the two players I'm looking for, two batsmen is Rohit Sharma and Shreyas Iyer, two Mumbai cars. So I bet on them.
Okay, and in the second match,
Second
CSK
match
RR.
is CSK and RR. So again, I want RR to cope up a bit, but yeah, I'm supporting CSK because they're finally in the playoffs, and I would like to see some more changes because they have qualified for the playoffs. So that there we might see some new changes, new players coming in for play. They will be resting some players. So yeah, I would interesting to see like who they give the chance, the new players.
I really like the irony here. Like, at one spot he's saying that Mumbai Indians has a lot of trophies, and on the other end he's supporting CSK. So, like,
It's a
you can
soft,
easily
soft spot
identify,
for MS
like,
Dhoni.
which team is rooting for.
Right. So what about you, Jay? What do you feel? Which team will
I would like to
should
root
win?
for more, like, for MI, and I would like to see Ishan Kishan back and, like, him performing, because that would completely change the pace. Like, that would change the track where MI is heading to, and that would be really good to see, because Delhi Capitals has a lot of established players. They have a really good momentum going on. But when you see all the teams at their peaks at that point of time, you get better games and the games are more interesting. And on the other end, like, it would be really nice to see how Sanju Samson is going to face up against, like, CSK and MS Dhoni coming out, because in the past few games he's also been struggling. The captain, he is doing, like, the same way, like we speak about, like we talked about KL Rahul, that he is doing his part, but his team is not coping up. And in the last game, we saw that there was actually a good opening partnership, but then the middle order and lower order had failed. Sanju Samson, including, was no show. So I would really like to see how it goes in that direction. Like, what this team is going to do to cope up with that kind of loss.
Right, right. So obviously, all our bets on the MI match as well, because a lot of potential players for the Indian World Cup squad for Mumbai. Hardik Pandya back into the form, very crucial for him to have some consistency back. And obviously, in the second match, Sanju Samson also in the vying for the orange cap, just on the heels of KL Rahul, and Sanju Samson has had the collective responsibility, just 8 points, but Sanju Samson has been performing well. So let's hope that we have some great matches tomorrow, not low scoring ones like the ones we see in Sharjah, but some ones where the batsmen dominate and we see sixes hit out of the park more often. So yeah, that's it. We'll be back with our panelists tomorrow discussing two matches tomorrow. That's it from our side. Please do like, share, and subscribe to the Sports Best channel, and also comment if you want us to discuss about a particular player, about a particular match, and we'll try to bring and put our best foot forward. So until then, see you guys. Good night. See you all tomorrow.